Students, good morning, and today in our class we will discuss the question and answers of the poem Fire and Ice. We will go the same way. I'll dictate both the questions and the answers. However, I'll dictate the questions once. You can look for the questions in the upload sheet. In the assignment part, you'll have all the questions in a sequence. You can write these questions from the assignment, the answers to which I am dictating. I'll go slow with the answers. Alright, so can we begin? Okay, so let's start with our class. Question number 1. There are many ideas about how the world will end. Do you think the world will end someday? Have you ever thought what would happen if the sun got so hot that it burst or grew colder and colder? Let's start with the answer, children. Answer. There are definitely many ideas. There are definitely many ideas about how the world will come to an end. We do believe that the world will end someday. As as anything that has a beginning. This stands true for the world. This stands true for the world if the sun got so hot that it burst. The whole earth would perish. The whole earth would perish immediately. As no part of the earth can bear the heat of that intensity. But If the sun becomes colder and colder, anything will come to an end without sunlight. Next question. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? How does it help in bringing out the contrasting ideas in the poem? Answer. The rhyme scheme of the poem is ABA, ABC, BCB. I repeat, the rhyme scheme of the poem is ABA, ABC, BCB. Change the paragraph. This rhyming scheme helps in bringing out the contrasting ideas of fire and ice. I repeat, this rhyming scheme helps in bringing out the contrasting ideas of fire and ice presented in the poem. The poet mentions that both the fire and ice are probable ends found in this world. He talks about how fire represents desire and can therefore be a cause of the end of the world. Robert Frost also mentions ice in between. Robert Frost also mentions ice in between to symbolize that the coldness and indifference towards one another will be enough to end the world. Next question. What deep meaning does the poem Fire and Ice carry in it? Answer. The poet has compared fire to the dark side of humanity. the poet has compared fire to the dark side of humanity. That is, hatredness and lust. According to the poet, lust is a greater evil. Desire or lust is the cause of war. Hatredness is also harmful. So, the poem Fire and Ice represents the two evils, hatredness and lust. Which lead to the destruction of the world. According to the poet, fire stands for desire, greed, and avarice. Desire, greed, and avarice. The more you try to satisfy them, the more you try to satisfy them, the more they grow. There is no end to it. They spread rapidly like fire and ruin your whole life. On the other hand, ice, according to the poet, stands for hatred, coldness, and rigidity. One becomes insensitive. One becomes insensitive and indifferent towards the feeling of others. One becomes selfish and sometimes cruel also. One becomes selfish and sometimes cruel also. The poet says that both fire and ice are growing with such a rapid speed that the world would soon perish either way, in fire or in ice. Next question. What will be the cause of the end of the world if it has to perish twice? Answer. The world is not eternal, and its end is certain. The poet cites with those people who think that fire will cause the end. Fire will cause the end of the existing world. But if this world has to perish, twice, then ice is as strong to bring the end of the world as fire is. Without human love, sympathy, and hatred, will be sufficient alone to bring an end to this world. Next question. What does fire and ice stand for, and what is the general opinion regarding the world? Answer. Fire stands for fury, hatred, anger. Fire stands for fury, hatred, anger, cruelty. Ice is symbolic of insensitivity, coldness, and intolerance. Students, so we have come to the end of today's class. Do not forget to give your attendance. Take care. Thank you.